What's going on, everybody? Greg Helbeck here. If you're a little confused on which camera I'm looking at, I'm actually recording this on my computer and on my phone because the storage is a little weird. So if for some reason my phone can't capture it, I have a backup on the computer. So if I'm looking at a different camera, don't mind me. The content will be the same. What comes out of my mouth will be the same. So today I'm going to talk about the real estate deal breakdown of the week. And this property was a property in Napanoch, New York that we did a wholetail deal on. So if you're interested in learning about that, stay tuned. If you're new to this channel, my name is Greg Helbeck. I've bought and sold well over 100 houses. And my goal on these videos is to just share real deals that I've been doing so you can take some nuggets away from it and apply it in your own business. So if you do get value from the video today, if you can share the video with somebody, it will mean a lot to me. If you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would also be helpful. I'm actually going to continue this on my computer because my phone seems to be shutting off. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to worry about it. So anyway, if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, it'd mean a lot. If you can like the video, that's how we get more people to see this. And if you're watching this on social media, if you can just, what's it called? If you can share it, like it, comment on it, that would be great. So anyway, this was 5 St. Mark's Place, Napanoch, New York. I got the lead from SEO, which means that someone went to my website and they called and they had a property for sale. And long story short, they were looking to sell it for $105,000, and the property's worth like $130,000, $140,000 via my realtor and via myself. I comped it out and took a look. And it seemed like a deal. So he told me that if I can give him his price, he's not going to shop my offer around. So I said, yep, I can do your price. We ended up getting it under contract. Long story short, raised some money from a private investor, and he loaned me the money to buy the property from his IRA account. We agreed on the number that he was going to loan me, like the purchase price, and then we also agreed on the interest rate. So if you're interested in becoming a lender, email me, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com. I can talk about some private lender options. Anyway, so I bought the property and didn't need any work, really. I mean, it always could use some work, but it didn't need any work to sell at the number I wanted to sell it at, right? So I ended up having the seller clean the entire property out. Before we closed, the tenants moved out, and I think we bought the property at like 10 a.m. and we sold the property at like 12, or not, we sold the property. We put the property on the market the same day at 12 p.m. So right away, we started getting some activity, and we had an offer on the property, I think within about 2 weeks, an all-cash offer, and I ended up selling the property for $138,500. So at the end of the day, I didn't put any work into the property. I bought the property for X, sold it for Y. And at the end of the day, I made about $20-something thousand. I think it was like $25,000, $26,000 of net profit after I paid the commissions, the closing costs on the buy, the closing costs on the sale, a little bit of holding costs, utility costs. I ended up walking away like $26,000. So at the end of the day, like, it's not a home run deal, but it's still a good deal, and it's a base hit, right? So it was a profitable deal that we got basically for free from my website because that didn't cost any money. The money that we spent on the SEO was like from years ago. So it was essentially a free deal that kind of fell on my lap. So what are some lessons that I learned on this deal? Lesson number one is that at the end of the day, if you're working with a reasonable seller who has a good asking price to begin with, you don't want to get cute, especially when you're getting web leads, which is internet leads, because sometimes if they don't like your number, they're just going to call 3 or 4 other investors because they were probably going to do that to begin with. So if you have a good seller online who's committed to selling you a property and their asking price is something that works, listen, I would have loved to buy the house for $80,000, but at the end of the day, he wasn't going to sell for $80,000. So he had a really reasonable price, and I knew that at that number I can make money. So I didn't try to get crazy and haggle the guy down. I said, yeah, I can do that number if you're committed to selling me the property. So the key there is I said, I will do your number if you're committed to selling me the property and not selling a competitor the property. And he agreed to that. So he ended up selling the property, did everything he said he was going to do. I did everything I said I was going to do, and it ended up working out. So number one, when you have a seller who has a good price, don't get cute. If the deal makes sense and you don't have to compete with people, it's worth just locking up right away. Number two is when you have a property that is in decent shape and you don't need to rehab it. What I mean by that is that we knew that property as is was worth in between $130,000 and $140,000. Ended up selling it for like $138,500, I believe. We didn't need to worry about the construction because the comparable sales that we looked at in order to justify our value on the sale were all pretty similar. They were dated houses, they were original, or they just haven't been updated in a while, but they weren't falling over. They weren't fixers, as they say out here in California. So we were able to basically go in there and pretty much just do an arbitrage play, buy it for one price, sell it for the next price, and obviously I had to close on it and hold it for a month, but it is what it is. Didn't cost that much in holding costs. And it ended up being a solid deal. So number one takeaway is if you have a seller with a reasonable price, don't get greedy. Just agree to do the deal so you don't have to worry about competing with people. And then number two is if you could buy a property and it's in decent shape and someone on the open market would pay you more money for it, don't get involved in rehabbing if you don't have to. In our business, we only rehab really when it's necessary, right? If we know we can put, some rehab budget into a property and really boost up the value, obviously it's worth it. But with this property, like with a lot of the properties in the area, like they didn't really have renovations. So like we could just literally buy it for X and sell it for Y. And at the end of the day, we were able to move our money. I think I closed on it in like November and sold it in December. So like I didn't even own the property for that long. So I was able to turn my money around pretty quickly. So that's the deal. Nothing too crazy. Solid base hit property up in Ulster County, New York. So if you're watching this and you got value, once again, if you can like the video, subscribe to my channel, and if you're on social media, love to have you share the post or like it or comment on it. Let me know what your feedback is. And if you want to do deals with me, if you want to wholesale me properties or you want to JV with me and we can wholesale properties together and you're in the Hudson Valley, Delaware, or California, that's the Hudson Valley, Delaware, or California, reach out to me via email, Greg, Greg, at velocityhousebuyers.com. Once again, that's Greg at velocityhousebuyers.com. I'll see everyone on the next video. Take care.